So where was I? Thank you very much for following on Twitter. I was trying to do a promotion for the Twitter, Nick, if you will.
You can still do it.
I largely run that. That's where I was. And so it's great that you actually support that. And thank you for commenting so regularly, Jason. It genuinely is appreciated. So one of the discussions on there the other day was about our academy. So just what do you know of our academy?
Where do you want to start? I think the initial conversation was, why are we not playing all the kids? We have had a meteoric rise from League One. And effectively, our academy hasn't had the ability to follow us at the same speed. We don't have the infrastructure and the place to develop what we would class as Premier League players these days. We're a Cat 2 academy, so there's 1 and 4 categories. We're a Cat 2. To get to where you'd want to be as a Premier League academy, that's a hell of a lot of investment that I'm not sure we're going to have. Just to give you an idea, if you want a Cat 1 status, you've got to have a minimum of 18 staff. You've got to have a budget of £2.5 million. We're not there. We've bought the ground. We've bought the hotel. We've bought whatever. We've got to invest in the first team, or we've invested in the first team, rightly, wisely, whatever you want to put that one. So it needs significant investment. And everyone's like, let's play the kids, let's get the kids in. People have heard some of the kids, so they've heard the likes of Hackford and Gordon and Frank Maguire, and they're 16 and 18 years old. They've not developed as men. And what you've got to look at is there are some bright sparks, some bright sights and lights in the academy. But you watch, I don't know if it's the Johnson Paint Trophy or whatever they call it these days, but they brought the under-23s into that competition. And they're getting bashed by Rochdale and League One sides. So bringing kids into a level that we're at the moment, albeit struggling, is a difficult conversation to have. We've just signed a young lad from Arsenal who's been nipped up on schoolboy, so we'll see what he's like. He came in this week and had a debut and did quite well.
Do you know his name, Jason?
Will Lancashire.
Okay, we'll remember the name. Thank you.
So he's new, but again, young lad. You've got people like Zach Brunt, as I said. He's been tipped as being the one that will probably make the step up. But
yeah, I will actually ask that question. Which of the young players do actually stand out to you?
Well, you've got the three that have already been touted, if you like, because they've been on the fringe, so people know Hackford. I mean, he's 16.
It's mad.
So he's a young lad, and there is a difference. I mean, I watch quite a bit of non-league football as well, and I see academies down there and young kids, and it's different when they come up against grown, full professional athletes. I mean, don't forget, they're still at school. We talk about an academy. They're still at school. They're still in the classroom for 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah, the Zoom classroom at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. But you've got Sariki, Tunisian lad who scored on his debut, made an assist. And there's one that seems to be going on the radar, Harrison Neal. He's 19. He's a Barnsley lad. Apparently, he's been from the academy since he was a toddler, effectively. He's been there all the way through. He apparently is going to be decent, but there's nothing that you could go, we've got another Kyle Walker, we've got another Harry Maguire, we've got another Carl Norton, because Norton was better than Walker when we let him go. There's nobody taking that step up. Or, I mean, Wilder said it, there's nothing in the academy that you could put in the first team. Now, whether he bloods them and gets them used to it, then it's there to get used to the environment. But you're not going to be able to play 5 kids in a Premier League game. I think that was the point that we were trying to make previously.
Yeah, they're all looking at kind of 16, 17-year-old at the moment, aren't they? And surely we should be looking at players that would be kind of 18, 19 coming into the first team. Even that would be a struggle in the Premier League. But as we've already spoken about, it doesn't look like you don't think that we should be throwing any kids in there anytime soon. What about
I won't say don't throw them in. I just say we've got to be careful when we're looking at playing or bringing them in, because at the moment they're doing quite well. Under 23 is doing great.
Yeah, they are.
Second in the table, I think they're doing great. Confidence is high. They're enjoying their football, and they're going to come into a first team which morale's probably not as good as we want it to be. There's a habit. For 4 years, we've had a winning habit. I think Baldock said we're not used to losing.
He's right.
We've had a winning habit. And I think by bringing kids in and feeding them not necessarily a losing habit, but not a winning habit, you've got to be careful on how we take them forward.
Yeah, I think me and you, Hal, we spoke about this, didn't we? And we said that we were looking at the last time we got relegated from the Championship to League One. And obviously we brought in Harry Maguire into the first time. We brought in Jordan Slew. Are they way ahead of these sort of players right now? Yeah.
But then, well, the problem is we didn't bring Harry Maguire in to a Premier League team. But they learned the football at a lower league. They cut their cloth accordingly and grew with a team.
Jason, you're whether you like it or not, you've become our academy expert, and there's questions have come through to you. So Rich says, Jason, what happened to Sam Graham? That's a great question. Sam Graham was playing friendlies pre-season with the first team, a couple of seasons ago. Then he's gone out on loan. I mean, do you know what's happened with his development?
I don't. I know he went to Halifax, didn't he? But I haven't. It's funny because I watch quite a lot of National League football as well. So I haven't seen Sam Graham. I don't know what's happening with Halifax, to be honest. As we've had a conversation, part of me looks at the academy. I've got a pal who's lads at the academy who's in there. So I get a bit tidbits, but I mean, there's things about investment. We're talking about the academy. They're talking about maybe getting the Lightwood Traffic Training Centre and buying that, and whether that's going to be added to or replacing Chycliffe. We don't know. So, I think we just got to be careful. Everyone's jumping up. Why aren't we playing the kids? We're down. We're not going to do anything. Play the kids. It's great, but I mean, let's look where we're going to go. To be fair, let's not destroy them because they are kids. We haven't got the Phil Fodens and the likes of the Harvey Barnes and that sort of type. We've got lads that are growing up that were in an academy from pretty much a League One Championship status club 2-3 years ago.
I think we could have you on for like an hour talking about this. I'd like to finish on maybe talking about Norrington Davis and how close you think he is to kind of stepping up. I know obviously he's done quite well at Stoke, and we will be a Championship club next season. Yeah, obviously. Do you think he can challenge Enda Stevens and Ben Osborne next season?
He's playing Championship football. Apart from his sending off, he had a couple of good games. I think he was man of the match for one of them. So he's at a level. He's playing at a level. I mean, under 23s is nice football, but it's junior football to a point. It's not grown up, horrible, Shawcross Championship. People are going to kick the hell out of you at Stoke and places like that. Norrington's playing at that level, so there's no reason why, with experience, he can't stay at that level. If we can then bring him back, then I can't see any reason why he can't challenge. For me, I'd play Osborne in front of Enda. That's going to be controversial.
No, I agree.
I think Enda gets caught wrong side too many times. He did in League One, and it's not changed the number of times he gets caught wrong side. He's great going forward. I wish he'd have put his foot through that ball on against Fulham rather than trying to side foot it, just leather it. But I think we've got options there, and I think he'll be a good backup. But it's where else. I think we need other areas at the moment more than we need left-hand side. We've got Osborne. I think he'll do really well, and for me, he'd be playing every week. He can't play in the middle of the park, which we sort of tried to do. But down the left-hand side, I think he gives everything we need. But yeah, I think he will next season, once we get him back from loan, he's had some experience, he'll be able to challenge. Then it's up to Ender to step up. I mean, the whole point of having competition is people step up to the plate and kick on, which is what we've done as we've gone along.
We'll only have 6 or 7 left wing backs next season. It'll be interesting to see who actually does step up. Yeah, and they'll probably all get injured like they did this season, and we actually have to sort of round pegs and square holes.
Well, that's the problem we've got at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you very much, Jason. One more thing I'll just say is the young Sheffield United forward Ryan Viggers is on trial at Burnley.
Yeah.
I do find that odd because, of course, they are Premier League rivals, and he's apparently scored twice for them.
He has. Is he better than what we've got? Look, you've got the lads at the academy who see it day in, day out. They'll take a view. If he does go to Burnley, we'll get a fee. So that also makes a difference as well for those that don't know. It was last year. I think it's still the same. The higher the category that you are, the more you can command as a fee if our kids leave.
I didn't know that.
So so the Man City Academy costs so much more than ours. So what they look at is the longevity of the player with us. So how long have they been with us? And then what category level are we at? And that determines what we can ask for in terms of a compensation or transfer fee. So if we get Cat 1, you pretty much triple whatever you can ask.
That doesn't sound right, that does it? Because
it should be, I guess, on the ability of the kid.
But it depends on what it costs you to educate the lads. Because bear in mind, as I said, they're at school. What's it got? Who have you got educating them? Who have you got teaching them? Who have you got providing that coaching? What level are they at? What facilities have they got? And that's where it all comes from.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it just doesn't feel right that Man City could just go and pick up a League Two player for next to nothing.
It's changing. There's one at the moment. I think it's Liverpool who have got a lad, and they're looking to pay a lot of money, about 10 million quid.
Wow.
So because he's been at a club for 6 or 7 years, so he's gone through that whole progression. And they're looking at the likes of Brewster, who did the same thing. They're looking at the likes of Brewster went for 20 million. Why is he not worth? So whether they'll get it or not is a different conversation.
It is. Jason, will you agree to change your handle on Twitter, or at least your name, to Jason the Knowledge?
I'm not sure about that, but maybe.
We definitely need to get Jason on again, don't we, Hal?
Oh, yes. Yes, we did say he was a hard act to follow, and you have definitely achieved so. I've learned a lot, actually. I didn't know a great deal about our academy, so I really appreciate that.